Hey guys, so this video is about the multiple ways you can create your design for this project, this first project and this next project, anything for screen printing. So of course, like we've been working in Photoshop, so of course you can create your entire design in Photoshop. You are not allowed to do like the Nike logo, that's illegal. So be careful when you're choosing artwork off of Google. If you're not going to sell it, it's not a huge deal. I still don't want you doing like the Nike logo. But if you're not going to sell it, it's not a big deal to like grab an image off of Google and manipulate that. If you are planning on selling it, then you need to email me and I'll tell you how to search for images that are free to use, share, and manipulate. But anyway, so yes, you can create everything on the computer in Photoshop in that 11 by 17 like white piece of paper that you create. However, you can also do a drawing, and then you can also create some stuff on your iPad. So I have had kids in the past on the iPad draw in Sketchbook and create their design in Sketchbook, save that image, send that image to their Google Drive, download it on the MacBook. Then you still have to edit it in Photoshop. Because we need to get it on that 11 by 17 paper, like clean it up, make sure it's in the layout you want, that type of thing. You can do Canva. I've had a couple people do Canva. I don't want you using like a Canva layout because that seems illegal because they created that themselves, but I think you can start from scratch in Canva or Bazaart and create something that way. If that's the case, I also don't want you using their images, like if they have, like I don't mind if you use like a brush stroke. They might have like a brush stroke image or like a silhouette of a butterfly. That's different. I just don't want you using something that seems like somebody else created that artwork, and it's not like super simple. So the other option is drawing, and I kind of do a happy medium of both. Sometimes I create my entire thing in Photoshop. Sometimes I do a drawing. 100% of the time, if I am involving a font, I do that in Photoshop. You have 5 million fonts on dafont.com that you can choose from. They're never going to turn out, or a hand drawing one is never going to turn out as good as one you can find in Dafont. So just use Photoshop for fonts, and like you can do a drawing and then add a font on top of it in Photoshop. So you can do both, kind of play with both. But I want to talk about the drawing process. So number one, this is one design that I drew, and then it ended up being this. I did the rest in Photoshop, drew this. This was created in Photoshop, and I printed it. So if you notice in my drawing, I messed up on the onion leaves right here, but I just erased that in Photoshop. I messed up because my green beans, if I like drew this dirt line all the way across, obviously that's why I quit drawing it. If I drew it all the way across, my beans would be underground. So in Photoshop, I used that lasso tool and I circled each one of these vegetables, separated them, and then manipulated them, moved them around to the exact line I wanted. So let's go to this. So you can see I raised the green beans. So if you lasso tool them separately, create them different layers, you can manipulate them, move them around. I ended up, oh wait, this is one of it. I ended up doing the dirt line with the drawing tool in Photoshop, and you can change with those brackets on your keyboard. You can change how big or small you want that line to be. So I just made it the same width as my drawing line, and then I obviously added the circle with the shape tool. And remember, if you're going to do a circle or a perfect square, hold shift down. You don't want an oval. Like that would have to be very intentional to want an oval. Typically, it's like a perfect circle for screen printing designs. Like I don't see ovals very often. So hold shift down when you're making your circle. So it's perfect. So anyway, this is how it turned out. Now this I printed on our art computer. So I made it in Photoshop, then I printed it on the art computer. Since we don't have the brand new printer just yet, this is the process we're going to use. Whenever we get the brand new printer, it'll be a little different. I just don't know when that's going to happen. So it'll probably happen, hopefully, for your second screen printing project. But so when you get your image created in Photoshop, you're going to save it to the desktop, and then you're going to upload it to Google Drive. So you're not going to get on a Google Doc and put it in a Google Doc. you're going to in Drive go to like new, upload file, upload this. And then you're going to share this with me. And I'm going to get an email and I can print it. So I printed this off from the our printer in Ms. Z's room. Then I'm going to go down. I'm not even messing with this printer behind me. Like, it sucks. So then I'm going to, after I print those, I'm going to go down to the printer in the teacher mailroom, and I will copy them onto vellum for you. These are my examples. So like this is my one for the adult shirt that I'm going to make for myself. And then this is my example I'm going to put on Knox and Boone's little shirt. So I made like a mini one so we can match. And that's really important actually. Like if you are planning on printing it on a clothing item, you need to consider what you're printing it on. So like say a girl wanted to do a crop shirt, you don't want a super long design. It's not going to fit on the crop shirt. If you're doing a kid shirt, you need to make it smaller. If you're doing a onesie, they're about 7 inches. So in Photoshop, when you look at the ruler, like you don't want it to go over 7 inches. So you can measure. If you're doing a sleeve print, which is possible, you need to literally measure your sleeve with the ruler, like see how long you want it and how wide you want it, and that's the size you're going to make it in Photoshop. It has rulers at the top and the bottom in Photoshop that are real life measurements. So just go by that. I think that's it. If you're going to do this drawing process that I just showed you, you are going to need to watch the other video on how to scan it into the computer, and I will do that in just a minute to show you guys how to do that. Otherwise, Photoshop, these are just your options. This video is just about your options for design. Photoshop, something on your iPad, or hand drawing, they all need to end up in Photoshop. So they're on the 11x17, completely black and white. So that's that threshold option, layer, adjustments, threshold. Or I think that's it. Yeah. So they're on the 11x17, completely black and white, and in like the layout you want. So you're not getting out of Photoshop no matter what, because they have to end in Photoshop. But you can minimize the amount of time on Photoshop if you're not comfortable with it. Okay, I hope this helps.